Hello guys, my brain wreck here again. On my last video I just did here, which I haven't posted yet, I guess there was 4 stages to a seizure, so I was unaware of that. What I read was 3 stages. So um, I guess aura is part of the aura is considered part of the 4 stage of the seizures. So just letting you know that, guys. So thank you for watching my brain wreck. If you like my channel, like, subscribe, press that bell button, click on all, or click down the bottom right hand corner of your screen there and click on my little brain icon there, and it'll bring up a subscribe button that way. Thanks for watching. Hello there, YouTube world. Welcome to my brain wreck. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about seizure stages. As some of you may know already, that I've had nocturnal seizures, and I mentioned already. And like I said, this is a brand new channel, so I expect to have subscribers coming out of the woodwork anywhere. And as a disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional or anything like that. I just want to get the word out there about epilepsy and seizures and stuff like that. Because a lot of people are not aware of seizures, what goes on, and how to recognize them. You know, seizures are very hard to recognize sometimes. You know, people can have one seizure, also have another one right after that, another one. Or they can have feelings and symptoms about seizures, and then all of a sudden that they feel something coming on, but it could be from days from now. You know, I know different types of things. There are different types of seizure stages. So we'll talk about that, and maybe we'll talk about some other things like that. You know, well, first we'll talk about that. We'll just have seizure stages in this video and stuff. Like I said, I'm not a medical professional or anything like that. My background is in criminal justice, so my stuff is in the law. So the reason I'm doing this, like I said, I had seizures before. I had nocturnal seizures. And sorry for the lighting. I have my little lights on my little selfie stick YouTube setup thing here. If the lights go out, I apologize. I do have this light up above me here. And I'm doing my research and stuff, obviously, so I want other people out there to understand about epilepsy and seizures, because like I said, I don't think it's understood enough, and it's not put there enough, and I don't think it's funded enough, and as other things I put on the news more than like breast cancer, heart attack awareness, you know, heart attacks or whatever, and diabetes. I do have diabetes type 2 myself, so and I do have a type 2 heart block condition. So then right under here, I was called a loop recorder, basically, and I have a machine in my bedroom, whatever. I can, if I need to, if I feel it's necessary, or if it tells me to scan myself, I scan myself, whatever. It sends the stuff to my doctor or whatever. You know, it's crazy. Basically, it's just like a EKG that's monitoring my heart. Well, it is a constant EKG. So anyways, well, let's get right into it. I'm talking about seizure stages. As I said, I can get my stuff from the Mayo Clinic or other clinics and stuff and do my research the best I can. And once again, this is not to be taken as medical advices or anything. I'm just telling you different things that I've learned and stuff from reading and all that good stuff. Well, now let's see. There are seizure stages, and I didn't realize there was until I was looking up. I did not realize that, so it was very interesting. So seizure stages, basically, they have a beginning phase, a middle phase, and an end phase. These phases are also called prodrome, ictal, and postictal. All right. So those are interesting words, aren't they? Prodrome, ictal, and postictal. Almost like it sounds like posticle, kind of. So, well, let's start with the prodrome. We'll start off with that stage. So basically, prodrome is earliest warning a seizure may happen. Don't know when it's going to happen. It can happen from a few days from now, a week from now, a month from now, but it leads up to it. They don't know how or when, you know, but some people do know when their seizures are going to come. You know, they actually do know, and they're aware of it, and they know when to lay down or get to a safe spot, lay on their left side or whatever like that. Usually people have you tell you lay on your left side, usually, mostly is because, you know, in case they're going to vomit or anything like that. Because you lay on your right side, your organs are not protected as much, but when you lay on your left side, your organs are more protected, actually, I believe. So prodrome is the earliest warning that a seizure may happen. I know you guys are just seeing my face and everything like that, but I'll try to put some pictures in here and possibly add on to the video here so you can see. I'm not going to put seizures up here or anything like that, but maybe I'll put an app, or not an app, but where you can look up about stuff. So during the prodrome, people may have a hard to describe sense that a seizure may happen. And they also have changes in behavior. They may act differently or not their normal self. It can happen in the hours or even days before a seizure. So you never know what's going to happen. So basically, the stage calls an aura. You guys know what an aura is. Basically, like a feeling something's going on, or a deja vu, and things like that. It's the first symptom of the seizures. So symptoms during an aura may include feeling that a person or a place is familiar, called deja vu, like I said, or a feeling that a person or place is not familiar with. They could have they may feel strange in their body and feel fear or panic, or good feelings. They may have good feelings. They can also may include smells. The smells that they may smell is like electrical burn somewhere, a natural gas, a funny taste in their mouth or something doesn't feel as right, or they hear sounds, even though you're with them maybe or whatever, they hear sounds they don't hear, and it could be something in their ears or something, could be something in maybe it's their maybe it's a blood pressure thing or tinnitus. They don't know, but they hear sounds that we may not hear and don't know what they're talking about. Taste this or blurred vision. Their vision may start getting blurred over a time of period. Our racing thoughts, they got thoughts going in their heads, just keeps coming and just recycles and stuff. So that's one way of possible seizures coming on. Now, most often, auras are feelings that are hard to describe. Like I said, their prodrome may include headache, so they may have a headache or something that feels really bad, numbness, tingling, nausea, or dizziness. Now this is part of seizure stages. Yes, this is the prodrome. So, but also, it may not be a seizure at all. It can be just maybe they're tingling or they're just having a headache. So, but many people with seizures have a prodrome or aura, but some people do not. In the next phase, this is a funny word, is ectophase. Ecto, I-C-T-A-L, is the ectophase. So the ectophase lasts from the first symptom, okay, including the aura. They have an aura or something happening not right, doesn't feel right, or like a bad taste in their mouth, or something sounds different, tinnitus, like I said, maybe it's something in their ears are ringing, or something their eyes are blurred, things like that. Now, the symptoms of the ectophase depend on the type of seizure. As I mentioned in one of my other videos, there's over 40 type plus seizures. So, and we'll get into some different videos of different types of seizures and stuff like that once I start getting a better understanding. Like I said, I want to understand better of seizures and stuff, and I want to give this information out to you people who don't understand what seizures are, and you see us like, what the heck is happening to that person, or are they acting strange? It could more likely be some type of seizure. We don't know about that for sure. And that could put you guys off. It'd be, it's probably scary for you guys, but scary for us and tragic, obviously. Like I said, we feel like a stigma sometimes to society, which we're not. We have a medical problem. That's what it is. So, and then the next one is called the postictal phase. All right, postictal, P-O-S-T-I-C-T-A-L phase. All right. So this is the period after seizure during recovery. All right. It can last minutes or hours. Now, some people will recover quickly, while others take hours. This takes a lot out of our body when our body's trying to recover and our muscles are trying to recover and stuff. Because when we have seizures, our body just uses lots of our muscles in there. We don't have no control over it. Also, when we have seizures, we have no control over our bladder or anything, or our organs, or what's going to happen. We know sometimes we may wet our pants or defecate. Unfortunately, we have no control over that. Unfortunately, that's why it's embarrassing for us and traumatic, and it feels like stigma. It does happen, not just for seizures, but other things too. Like I said, the length of the postictal phase depends on the types of seizures and what part of the brain was affected. And then I'm just going to insert here once again. I'm not in a medical profession or anything like that. Okay, so seek your advice from a medical profession, your doctor, neurologist, hepatologist, or whatever doctors you need to see, psychiatrists and so forth. Sometimes psychiatrists and the neurologists and along with seizures and stuff, because you feel traumatic, you feel left out, you feel anxiety, stress stuff. That's why sometimes the neurologists, when the psychiatrists work together, help you come with a plan, and they'll usually work together and stuff like that. So basically, like during this phase, people may be slow to respond. They'll have trouble with memory because they won't remember nothing, because they don't remember anything, because what it is your memory's going to be taken by that seizure, whatever. So they ain't going to remember the last thing or anything. They may have trouble walking or riding. Possibly they may feel sleepy, confused, dizzy, sad, scared, anxious, or frustrated because they just had a seizure. They may have a nausea, a headache, or weakness. They may feel thirsty or urinate. As I mentioned, they may have to urinate. And they may even urinate on themselves, unfortunately, because they have no control over that. So those are the 3 phases of seizure stages. Okay, prodrome, ictophase, and post-ictophase. So when do you see a doctor about this? So you want to seek medical help right away if you have a seizure, or if you see one have a seizure and any of the following happens. The seizure lasts more than 5 minutes. Anytime, a lot of us don't like ambulance to be called on us after a minute or two, because we're going to come back to and stuff. And later on the line, I'll talk about why we don't want to do that and stuff. And it doesn't have to do with driving. I'll say that. So if the seizure lasts more than 5 minutes, yes, definitely call for medical attention. The person isn't breathing after the seizure stops, right? Okay. Second seizure follows right away. Or if they have a high fever, if they have a high fever, if you have a temperature to check your friend or family member or whatever, babies. Babies, on the other hand, those are, it's hard to see what happens to babies, because, babies show their pain in different ways until they grow up, until they get older and stuff. Then you can start recognizing more of their pain. The person's body's overheat, are called heat exhaustion, things like that. Or the person is pregnant and they have a seizure. Definitely, no matter what on this, call 911. All right. And then diabetes. It's what's called a diabetic seizure. So as myself, I'm type 2. So definitely I would be need to call for ambulance would be need to call for me, because I am diabetic, because it could be possibly be a diabetic seizure. It could be my sugar's way high and all of a sudden, boom, I go into a seizure, and possibly I could have another one right after that. It's hard to say. And another one is the seizures do cause an injury. So that's why they always tell people who have seizures and stuff, and they want you to be in a safe place and find a safe place to lay down or get somewhere comfortable as much as possible, And sometimes you're going to have to do CPR. Got to lay them flat on their back and start CPR. That's just the thing too. Like I said in my other videos, I've had nocturnal seizures, and my wife had to do CPR on me all 3 times, because I turned blue each and every time. So pretty scary. But if it wasn't for her, the ambulance personnel, medical personnel, EMTs and paramedics and doctors and nurses, I probably wouldn't be here today. Like I said on my other video, my last was excuse me for my voice in a horse. My last one was my last seizure. I was put on a ventilator because I wasn't responding. I didn't come to until hours later. I didn't respond to any of my seizures at first. So thanks to them and my wife, I'm still here. I'm grateful and thankful for God. Like I said, I'm Christian faith based, and also I've been recently ordained as an ordained minister, reverend, as you could say. But they can cause seizures happen in the water. That's probably one of the most dangerous places seizures can happen, is in water, obviously. If they're in the water, you want to get them out of that water as quickly as possible, because obviously what could happen. They could drown. You don't nothing like that happen. Now, just to add on, for those people that have seizures and stuff, they recommend you not to take baths, obviously, for a reason. You know, people, I know they want to and stuff. They're so can relax. I get that, but it's highly dangerous because let's say you have a seizure and all of a sudden you just slip under a little bit underneath the water or inhale a bunch of water. That could happen. So for you guys that have never had seizures or anything like that, you know, you should seek a healthcare profession. And like I said, I'm just trying to get the word out here more about seizures because, like I said, I don't think it's recognized and people don't understand it as much. Especially epilepsy is one misunderstood, and seizures themselves are just misunderstood in general. Like I said, there are so many of them out there, quite a bit. You know, I mean, I can name a few off of here. Generalized seizures like absent seizures, tonic seizures, atonic seizures, clonic seizures, myoclonic seizures, tonic-clonic seizures. So that's just a few of seizures. That's just a few of them. There's way more than that we know of. Of course, I mean, there's a lot of list of them, but we just don't know how they work or why they come that way. But anyways, this is my brain wreck, so I hope you guys find this helpful and that information is helpful to you. And you know, go educate yourself, look up seizures and stuff, and compare a seizure to epilepsy because seizures is different than epilepsy, even though they're a part of epilepsy. But epilepsy is totally different from seizures. I know it's hard to understand and it's hard to distinguish between the two, but I suggest you go do that. But thank you for watching my brain wreck. You guys have a great day and great night, and be safe. And to those all with epilepsy out there, you guys be safe, and hope you guys make it through the day and every day. And go Purple Warriors. Purple Warriors, excuse me. You guys are wondering why I said purple, because purple is for epilepsy. So, and I think purple is great for epilepsy. And also for those that have not been diagnosed with any epilepsy or anything like that, for you that have just been diagnosed with seizure disorders, you guys, congratulations for you guys that make it through the day without a seizure today, or been without a seizure for a long time. So any day without a seizure is a positive day. You guys have a great night. And like I said, if you like my channel, it's my brain wreck at youtube.com, obviously. Or click down my bottom right hand corner of your screen there and click on the little my brain icon thing there and bring up the subscribe button that way. Please leave a like, a comment, thanks, and pass down, let my channel out there. And I'm trying to let this new channel grow and just pass it on to others if you find this helpful information. I think it's a channel I think that'll grow hopefully within a few months. At least I'm going to try to help it grow in a few months, but we'll try our best. But you guys have a great day. And one more thing again, like I said, I'm not a medical profession or anything like that. I'm just trying to get the word out there more about seizures and disorders, seizure disorders and or things like that, and epilepsy. So you guys have a great night, good night, and my brain wreck is doing fine today. Have a good night.